Hello again and welcome back to Food for Freedom podcast. If you're watching this now, I don't even think I'm in the country. I'm pre-recording this one because I wanted to make sure that you have an episode for the week that I am actually away. I'm going to America tomorrow, which is so incredibly exciting. But obviously I can't leave you without my little voice in your ear telling you that food is safe and you need to ignore the lie in your head now, can I? So instead of me always just like teaching you things and almost feeling like I'm lecturing you sometimes, I don't even know if that's how you feel, but sometimes I like to give encouragement and inspiration as well. And I was thinking about what is something that I would have needed to hear when I was going through it as well. And I like to think that I share all of that with you anyway, but I was thinking and I was like, okay, so what did the voice and the lie used to make me do, like, and make me think? And it would be like, okay, well, I'm going away, and it wouldn't like the idea of the fact that I have to sit on an aeroplane for X amount of hours and still eat. It wouldn't like the idea that, my gym has been taken away from me when I'm going away. It wouldn't like the idea that this whole routine and control aspect of my life is just being snatched from it. So I was thinking, like, what is the main problem of that? And the main problem of that is rest. And if you've listened to my last episode, which I've released about the sort of compulsive exercise and exercising and stuff, I just wanted to do a follow up from that about rest. And then I thought, okay, what better way than to give you 10 reasons to rest? 10 reasons why rest is great, why rest is safe. I want you to walk away from an episode with a different way of thinking, do you know what? I've never ever thought about it like that, because all I've ever known is rest is dangerous. Rest is something that I'm forbidden to do. So I want to get in your head. I want you to have a little think, and I just want to share all of the reasons and the truthful reasons why rest is needed. And yeah, 10 reasons to rest. I was writing them and I was like, okay, I'm running out of like, 1 to 10. And I was like, I'm going to go over. I want to give them 20 reasons. I want to give them 50 reasons. I want to give them 100 reasons. But I maybe you've got 11. Maybe you've got 11. But 10 to 11 reasons why rest is safe and rest is good and you deserve rest. So I'm so ready to share them with you. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so I've got them written down on my trusty little iPad. And number 1 is rest proves that you are in charge and not the voice. Okay, so every single episode I talk about the fact that you are not your eating disorder voice. You are not the voice in your head that always wants failure for you. You are not the voice in your head that always wants to hold you back. It's a liar. It's a liar that's hijacked your head and your brain even. And if you are compulsive exercising and physically not allowed to rest, that is not you speaking. That is something else controlling you. Think about it, okay? Maybe look at your mum, your dad, your parents, your siblings, your friends. Obviously everyone's got their own things going on. Of course, you don't know what's ever going on in someone's mind. However, a free human can choose to sit down and can choose to not have a certain step goal to do. They don't feel obliged to have to do a step goal. Maybe they like going on walks every day because it keeps their mental health insane, and going for a walk is healthy, and they just go for a walk because they want to go for a walk. They don't feel the need to have all of these structured gym sessions that are so strict. They don't feel the need to have to like jump up at 10 o'clock at night if they haven't finished their steps because they have to. They lie in on a weekend till 11, 12 o'clock and still continue to eat what they want that day because they know that they're allowed to do that. There's nothing in their brain telling them they can't do that. But if that routine sounds impossible to you, and if that life of not being allowed to do those things, of resting because there's a voice in your head is telling you you're not allowed rest, you are being held captive. That is captivity. Like, you are being held like this. If you're watching it, I've got my hand in like a grippy state, and it's like as if like the voice has gripped you like this around your neck. And I'm sorry if you're listening to that, because that would have been really hard to imagine. But anyway, the liar in your head has got you in a chokehold, and it's keeping you captive, and it's making you do these things because it tells you that you have to. It's its way of controlling you. It's its way of keeping you stuck. It will tell you that rest is weakness, but rest is the first step in rebelling against the voice. It's the first step in fighting back and saying, shut up, voice, I'm not listening to you today. I need to rest. My body's killing me. My DOMs, my muscles are screaming at me. I feel exhausted, like not one part of me wants to exercise, but the voice in my head keeps telling me. So by resting, it's literally fighting back to the voice. And I'm sorry, but if you actually think about it, like, rest, like there is so many worse things that you could use to fight back to a voice. Like rest, like that's actually a bonus. Like being able to lie down and do nothing, or choosing not to do your steps when the voice is telling you that you've done too many steps, like choosing those things, that rest over forced movement. Why are we telling us that? Why is the voice in our head telling us that that's a punishment? Like rest is unreal. Like it just feels so like lying down. You can make it fun, you can romanticize it. Sometimes I like to put on spa music or meditation music, and I just like to rest. Or I like to put on some like R&B. YouTube, there's these playlists that people do like mixes, and I'll just be like, instead of doing my steps, I'll just be like doing things I actually need to be doing, like tidying my room or planning for my next podcast, or just things like that. Rest is so important, and it's actually fun to do. You are just not allowed to experience that yet because the voice has brainwashed you to think rest is something that is genuinely forbidden. The liar will constantly tell you that if you stop and start resting, that you are letting go of yourself. Like you have suddenly made the decision that you're going to gain loads of weight and you are letting yourself down and you're a failure. And it's like, that couldn't be so far from the truth, that when you choose rest, you are physically showing your brain that it is allowed to now rewire and show that you are safe when you rest. And it's the only way that your brain can rewire, because it's the only way it can experience safety without having to compensate for it. It doesn't realize that rest is this thing that is safe and it is something that we need, because every time we do it we have to compensate, or we always have to compensate for food because we're not allowed to rest. It's brainwashing. The lying voice in your head wants you to keep exercising, because if you don't, its whole safety system and whole belief system collapses. It doesn't know what to do with itself, so it's going to find more ways to control you and just panic and like tell you it's the worst thing in the world that you're resting. Like when you're resting, okay, your mind and the lie in your voice is going to be saying, why are you resting now when you could be out doing your steps? Because if you don't do your steps, then you're a day behind and you're going to have to eat less today. But all you want to do is eat more. So go and do your steps. And it's like, it is not like a human thing where we were put on this world to have to do 10, 14, 15,000 steps a day. Like that is not normal. And if you are doing that and normalizing that, then you need to be making sure that you're fueling yourself for that, because that is so much for your body to do. And it's not a thing that we're supposed to have to be doing every single day. Like walking, yes, we're supposed to do that to be healthy, but compulsive exercise alongside a huge step goal and then not allowing yourself rest, like that is not normal and that's not healthy. So you have to incorporate rest and show yourself rest and allow yourself rest to build trust with your body, to break the belief system of the liar in your head. The liar absolutely thrives in the chaos of movement, and you have to do your steps there and you have to go and exercise there and you have to do this, that and this and that and this and that, that you have no time to actually sit and think what you want. But by sitting and resting, you're allowing that space, you're allowing that time to come back to yourself. By sitting in it long enough, you'll be able to hear what you want and what you need to do. Number 2, your body is not the enemy that you believe it is or have been taught to believe that it is. The voice in your head has convinced us that your body is something that has to be controlled, has to be managed, has to have X, Y, Z rules, has to do this, that, routine, rigid, structured days in order to survive. You know, you eat at this time, you eat at that time, you have to do this exercise then, and then you do this for that and this and that, and it's just this constant plan in your head. And from that plan that you followed every day in order to feel safety, the voice has convinced you that you need that to survive. And with that, it's like, okay, I can only survive if I control my body, if I manage it, if I follow the strict routine that I've been taught in order to feel safe. But the thing that we are never exposed to and never realise in the moment when we're going through this, because it just feels so normal, like we've normalised doing these routines and stuff, like we haven't thought of, you know, what is life without this routine. We feel safe with it, so we feel like we can't change it. But we've never ever thought to ourselves, okay, but our body has never once tried to go against us and our body doesn't want to go against us. It's our human shell, it's our vessel, it's how we're experiencing life. But the voice in our head makes us beat our body up because we don't look like something that we feel is socially acceptable or something that everyone wants to look like or desirable or lovable. Or like, I would beat myself up and my body up, and I would actually say, like, it's so unfair that I've been given this body when people like this exist, and I would show myself some sort of image online that is completely unrealistic to my body type, how I was born. But I would I would hate my body for it, and I'd blame my body, and I'd just be like, if I just had a nice body, then I wouldn't even have this illness. And it's like, how twisted is that? How much brainwashing is required to believe that about my body? Like, my poor mum and dad, like, I came together from two people in love, and this is how I've come out, and I want to hate myself for that. Like, I am a pass down from my parents. Like, I'm made by two people that I love most in this world, and I want to hate myself for it. I want to beat myself up for it when I have no choice in what I look like, and it makes me no less of a person of me looking like something that I perceive as desirable and I perceive as worthy. Of course, you're always going to find things that are different about yourself. You're always going to find things that you don't like about yourself. But we're normal humans. So before the voice tries to tell you that rest is giving up, just remember, rest is keeping the one thing that has never ever betrayed you, never ever wants to see you hurt, never ever wants you to go off the planet. Like, it's actively working every day to keep you alive. It's never wanted to betray you. Never ever. It wants to keep you more safe than that voice in your head does. We need to stop fighting the one thing that is keeping us alive. Your body has been holding you together this whole entire time, while we're too busy just trying to ruin it and tear it down, and we're not doing it intentionally. I understand that, but there's a voice in our head telling us that we have to do that in order to fit in order to be accepted. Your body isn't your enemy. It's the one thing that has never and will never betray you. Number 3, why you need to rest. Another reason to rest is because, like I just said, it's when you start being able to question it. And that's the reason that you're not allowed rest, is because it provides you space to question the voice, okay? When you are constantly consumed by exercise and doing these strict routines and constantly on the go and constantly planning for your next movement, you're busy. You have no mental capacity to think about anything else. So, for example, I can hear the noise right now. Like, where I've lived through the noise, I know what it's like to have a noisy brain and feel that overwhelm where you just want to be able to think about something else, but you can't, because you're constantly thinking about how you're going to keep yourself safe today, how you're going to make sure there's enough movement today, how you're going to make sure there's enough time for the gym, how you're going to just all of the control, and it keeps you busy. Like, you're so busy, you feel so busy because of it. And guess what? Busy brains don't ask questions. They don't question what's happening. They're just used to the same routine every single day, the same rules every single day. You don't get time to question it. The voice on the line in your head hates rest because you get to start questioning, hang on a second, I rested today and it felt nice. I finally felt nice to just rest. So maybe I need to start doing this more. You know, I've listened to Neve's podcast, and what she said was actually right, and it's opened my eyes. And then you start questioning the voice. You start separating yourself, thinking, okay, like, I'm going to incorporate more rest this week because I enjoyed it and I actually managed to think for myself a little bit. And rest is okay. Rest is safe. Rest is essential. Rest is necessary. So make sure you even just try and give yourself some, and just try and see what thoughts come up, see what your brain is telling you, and say, no, rest is a normal human thing. Rest is essential. Rest is necessary. It gives you time to think about why your brain wants you to move, and think about what you need to do to go against that if you really and truly want to rest, which I'm sure you do. Okay, the next one is your body can never trust you if you don't give it rest. And what is healing your relationship with food all built on? Trust. Rebuilding trust. You know, this is why it's so hard to heal your relationship with food, because there's so many different aspects that you need to, you know, show up on top form for, ready to fight back, and rest is one of them. Imagine having a partner, okay, and they're saying that they love you and they want the best for you, and, you know, they want to see you do really well in life. However, they don't let you sleep, never let you slow down, they make you do everything for them, they tell you you're not allowed to eat, they say you don't deserve that because of this. Like, imagine, you know, a partner saying that to you. You wouldn't feel safe with them. That wouldn't be your life partner. Like, why would you want to be with someone like that? It's the exact same thing with your body. Your body is trying to love you and look after you, but you keep making it do these things that it doesn't want to do, that it knows isn't good for it, but you're forcing it to. So recovery and resting is your body slowly learning, okay, like, I can trust that they are going to give me rest when I need it so that I can show up my best for them tomorrow and the next day. And it wants to trust that you're going to give it food. It wants to trust that you're going to listen to it when it's asking you to listen, in order for it to show up for its best for you. And by incorporating rest and allowing yourself to rest, this is one of the best and first ways to prove this to your body. It's like, okay, body, I'm ready to give you my trust. I'm ready to show you that I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to let you trust me again, because I'm going to give you rest. Yeah, I'm not going to fear it, because this is part and an essential part of my recovery journey. I have to be okay with rest, and I want to earn that trust back with my body to be living life again freely. You can't heal a nervous system that is in constant fight or flight, constant stress exercise. Rest is not a reward. Rest is essential. And I'll tell you what, it's the first step of safety. It's the first step of building that trust with your body. Okay, the next one is the liar loves to keep you exhausted so that you never ever notice your life just passing by. There is one place that the liar and the voice loves to live. It's in a state of exhaustion. Because when you're exhausted and you're tired and you're mentally drained, you know, you feel a bit like, you feel a bit like sorry for yourself, don't you? Like when I'm exhausted and when I'm tired now, like I just do like to think, I'm just gonna mope around, like, I'm so tired. And I'll think of all these things that I can do to like nurture myself and like look after myself. I just feel sorry for myself, okay, when I'm tired and I'm exhausted and stuff. But anyway, when you're in a state of, you know, malnutrition and you're exhausted and you're over exercising, you're vulnerable, you're exhausted, you're tired. God, the voice loves to live here. The voice loves to grab you when you're in this state, because your brain becomes easier to control. Your ability to think becomes lower. Your emotions drop. You know, you're all down and gloomy and tired and exhausted, and you become more vulnerable. You have not really much motivation for anything because you're so exhausted, and like your resilience drops, and like you just think, I just can't deal with the voice today, and I just can't fight back today. Like I'm just so exhausted of all of this, which leads the voice to get more convincing, louder. You know, it's going to come in and it's going to say, get up, you don't deserve rest. If you rest, yeah, you're tired, but you know, dream bodies aren't built in tiredness. And it's like, like when do I get a break? Rest isn't lazy. Rest is genuinely regaining that time to be able to question the liar, to be able to pull the liar up when it's coming up at you. It's regaining the mental strength to talk back to the liar and to go against it. Something that I always like to remind myself is a tired brain is a compliant brain. You know, when you're tired, you just think of the thing that's going to be easiest for you at that time. And when you are vulnerable, listen to the voice is going to be easy. So you need to know that if you are tired, if you're exhausted, you're allowed to rest, and the voice doesn't have a right to make you feel guilty for it. Next one is the lie that isn't letting you rest exists because it's so scared of what's going to happen when you're finally free, when you've allowed yourself rest, when you're healing yourself again. Think about this, okay? If the voice didn't exist, right? Think about it. If the voice didn't exist tomorrow, what would your day look like? What would you eat? You would eat, wouldn't you? You would rest. You would go to a movement class, whatever class, or some sort of movement when you felt like it, if it felt good, if you enjoyed it. Everything would be on your terms, wouldn't it? You would live your life, and because the liar didn't exist, it would have no role to play in your life. And that is why the liar and the voice in your head tells you and is so loud that you're not allowed to rest, because if you rest, you are taking a step towards that life, towards that freedom, where it completely loses its existence. You're literally letting it dissolve away, and it knows that. So it's going to convince you that everything it knows is right and everything you need to stick to, when really it's literally there and it's loud because it's so scared of what happens when you are free. And what happens? It goes extinct. You notice it, you know what you're doing with it now, you're in charge, and it doesn't want that. It doesn't want that. What happens when you are free is you think for yourself, and you haven't done that in ages. You haven't done that in years. You've forgotten what it's like to even think for yourself. So by listening to me and by separating yourself from the liar, it's going to go extinct. It's going to stop. It's going to start slowly slipping off a cliff. Moving on, you are not a before picture. I feel like life these days has just convinced you that you are almost in like this waiting room of having your dream body. So like you always think to yourself, I can't rest yet because I am not where I want to be. I don't look how I want to look. I'm not there yet. Like I'll be able to rest when I've got my dream body, when I'm at this stage, and it will keep promising you that stage. And the waiting room is like you're just sort of waiting there for a better body where you can allow yourself to do these things. And that is what it likes to convince you is the case, but it's not. If you are physically refusing to rest until you hit a certain body goal or a certain weight goal or whatever, you are not living in the present. You are not in the present. You are merely focusing on this goal, and you are going to do anything it takes to get to that goal. And by doing that, you are creating this excessive compulsive movement. You are creating these really rigid rules. You are only living inside your head, inside the liar's head. Not your brain, because you're not in control. You're living in the liar's brain. And we fall into this thing of treating our life like we have a life after this life. Like, we treat it like, okay, I'm going to waste all these years trying to shrink myself to a place I will still never be happy with, because it's fine because I have another life. And it's like, we don't. We're wasting these years away because we care so much about how we look, and we care so much about how other people are going to perceive us, that we would rather throw away all these years and just live in our brain and ignore the present and pretend that we are constantly this before picture we always have to change. And we're never happy. So we're hoping that we have all these before pictures on our phone and we're going to have this big happy transformation. And it's not like that. If you keep pushing for a goal weight, you are living in your head. You are not being present. You are wasting years of your life. You are trading your only life for a body that you think that lie in your head is going to let you have when you're X amount smaller, when you've hit this certain weight. Stop waiting for your life to start at a different size. It doesn't happen like that. It never does. I had a goal weight in mind. I had a goal size in mind. I had a picture in mind. I am born as I am. I am born as me. I can't change my body where it feels its happiest and healthiest, and that's okay. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't look like some Instagram model. That's fine. It doesn't take away who I am as a person. So the next one is your personality is dying under the stress of all of this and not letting yourself rest. Think about where you are right now. Maybe you are in the depths of compulsive exercise. Maybe you've got through that and that's amazing. Or, you know, maybe you've just got all of these rules in place. Are you funny? Maybe you are. I don't know, maybe you are. Are you laughing? Are you physically enjoying life? Are you present? Are you, wanting to hang around people? Are you organising things with your friends? Are you wanting to go out? Or are you just keep looking at your watch, checking your steps and wondering when you're going to get time today to fit them in? Are you constantly thinking about eating that, but then when you're going to exercise for it? Are you panicking when you can't have time to make up for food you're eaten, or not being able to exercise, or are forced to rest? Is that consuming your brain instead? Resting brings back your spark. It brings back your personality. And I like to think to myself is, if I was taken off of this earth, what would my last week have looked like? And it's like, I feel so grateful that my life wasn't taken away from me when I was going through it, because it's like, it was just control. It was miserable. I was so upset and I wasn't allowed to eat and I had to compulsive move all the time. And it's like, we have one life and you deserve to live it. You are so much more than measurements. And your personality is going to take you places in this world that you don't even realise yet. But you're not letting yourself see those, because the thing is, the people we look up to, right? The people that we idolise, the ones I do anyway, I don't know about you, but I idolise people who change the way that I think, or have impacted my life in a way that's made me better, or have been kind to me, or have a really kind soul, or a really good friends. And influencers that I follow are ones that put the good out into the world, and are providing me with value and helping me become a better person. Never once have I thought, okay, I actually only value this person because they're this size and they look like this, they look like that. I follow so many different people online, and everyone is different, and I appreciate them all for different reasons. But none of those reasons are anything to do with how they look, their body, their weight, anything like that. So the next one is your metabolism needs a break. It doesn't need to be constantly beaten up. So the liar likes to see metabolism in our brains as something that, we need to balance, something that, I've given it this today, so I actually need to, exercise to burn that off, and blah, blah, blah. Think of your metabolism like a fire. In order to keep a fire running, which your metabolism needs to, keep your heart beating, everything like that. Imagine as a fire, that a fire needs fuel. You need to, in order for the fire to burn and keep you warm and whatever, it needs fuel. You need to constantly be feeding it, and then the fire will just keep going. It needs fuel without you telling it that it's not allowed fuel and making up for it when you give it fuel. And when you're in a constant state of exercising and not allowing rest, your body is in this constant state of emergency. It's fight or flight. It's like we never get to rest. Like we are never relaxed. We're just in a constant stress state. When you relax, you're handing that trust over to your body, and you're giving your metabolism that break to be like, okay, I trust you to know what you're doing. I'm going to give you the fuel to do what you're doing, instead of it just feeling like it constantly, like food's given to us and then it's taken away, and then like it constantly has to adjust to what you give it. And it's like, if you are not having that trust, it's not going to know what to do. It's just going to be messed up and beaten up. Does that make sense? So you need to let it do its job and know that your metabolism knows more than you. You don't need to code it. You don't need to do things where you think you can hijack it and make it faster and all of this. It knows what it's doing for your body. You just have to trust it. You need to stop beating it up. You need to stop punching it and saying, here, you can have food, but then, you know, tell it off for having food. You are giving your metabolism the all clear signal to say, I trust you. I'm not going to hurt you anymore. Please do your job and look after me, which it wants to do anyway. And the last one I'm going to mention is the strongest one, and it's hard to imagine when you're in it. I completely understand, but rest is so important, because it will open your eyes up to how many years the liar in your head has stolen from you. Because, like I said, going back to all those other points, it creates space for you to think, to fight back to the liar. It creates space for you to think for yourself. What do you want? You know, actually listening to yourself. And for me, like, the voice in my head made me believe that the scariest thing about healing my relationship with food was the weight gain. But after being out the other side and coming out the other side, I can hands down tell you the scariest thing about recovery is after, when you've recovered and you've realised how much of your life was taken by the liar. You know, my family's birthdays that I'm never going to get back was spent thinking about how many calories I can eat. There's holidays that I've ruined by compensation and not letting myself try things. There's times where people have needed me and I've not been present because I've just been in my head listening to this voice. There's traditions that my family have wanted to do with me that I've had to ruin with my attitude and my mood and, you know, like my miserable personality. And it's just like, I don't want to be remembered for that at all. I don't want people to be, and I know it's not for other people, I know this is your journey and stuff, but I don't want people to like remember me as, oh, like that was so sad that she just was dealing with that and like completely lost herself and was just turned her miserable. You know, I want to leave change to people's lives. Like, I want to help people. I want to help people see the outside of this illness, as I know how bad it was. And only now do I realise how many things that I completely messed up and wasted. And it's not my fault, so I don't beat myself up about it. But I just feel grateful to know that it's not me. And it's like, now that I'm in a position to be able to help you realise it's not you. So really think about all the things that you wish you could have been present in, and the things that are coming up that you want to challenge yourself to be present in for this reason. You know, life isn't promised all the time. Life is never promised. Things can always happen, and you just don't know sometimes what's around the corner. So you want to make sure that you, and this is no way to guilt trip you whatsoever. Like, I know guilt tripping doesn't work. Tough love doesn't work sometimes. And it's like, I would never want to do that. But it's perspective, and it's a perspective that I hold really close to my heart. And it's like, my family and my friends and everything like that means so much to me. And my impact means so much to me. And it's like, the voice and the lie in my head will tell me that the only thing I need to be worrying about is calories and food and weight gain. It's like, no, I don't. I need to make sure that I'm spending time with the people I love and making the most of people I love. I need to make sure that how I can help the world instead of how I can just destroy myself. It's like, if I carried on listening to that voice, I wouldn't be here being able to tell you that. So think about all the things you want from your life, and think about how much the voice is keeping you back from. Think about all the people you love. It's not about, this is very much about you. This is very much about you healing yourself. So don't use, don't beat yourself up about other people, that's what I'm saying. But just think about making sure you spend time with people you love as well. And the voice is stopping you from doing that. And acknowledging that is a really brave thing to do. So With that being said, yeah, I think I've given you some really valid reasons as to why you are allowed to rest, why rest is safe, why you need to rest, and I just hope that you find the strength in you to allow that for yourself after this, listening to this. Re-listen to it as many times as you want, that's the whole point, I'm here. But anyway, I'm so grateful for you all listening. As always, the links will be linked down below for more things if you want to take another step towards food freedom. And I'm just so grateful for you all. Thank you for listening and sending so much love and strength your way. And I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.